So what's going on, guys? This is a new Python programming tutorial series. This series is meant for beginners who are actually starting out on Python, and for people who have actually tried other programming languages and wanted to pick up Python as a second language or as a third language. Whichever reason you're here, this tutorial series is gonna be great for you guys. Now, the first thing you need to do is to set up your Python IDE, that is the interactive development environment, and this is where you're gonna be writing your code. You're gonna open your browser and just type download Python. Okay, so once you done that, the first link, just click on that. That should take you to this python.org/downloads. Now you can click on this download button to get Python downloaded for you, or if you're on a different operating system, say Mac OS, you can click on this to download that. Now when you're installing Python, make sure you click on the add to path checkbox, so you can add Python to path and your computer can actually recognize Python in any file or folder. Okay, so after doing that, I have a basic IDE set up here. That is the Sublime Text IDE. If you want to get one, you can go ahead and type download Sublime Text 3, and you could click on the first link that you get, and you can basically choose on the operating system you want to download this on. So for me, it's gonna be Windows, and you could actually get away with that. You can choose any one you want here. So that's basically how to set up your IDE. Now once you've installed Python, as I've shown here, you could see that you have a default IDE, and that is the idle. Now we're not going to be over exploring idle in today's tutorial. We're going to be using a Sublime Text, but for idle, this is the interactive shell, and you can write your code here. For example, if written var is equals to 1, print var. Okay, so don't be worried about this. If you're using idle, which I assume you will, you're going to press Ctrl N to create a new file, and to save that you can use Ctrl S, and you're going to type the name of your file and .py. Now that's the extension for Python files. You can save it as any name you want, then you end it with .py. Now for text files, it is .txt. For pictures, we have .png, jpg, and the rest, but for Python we stick with .py. Now I'm not using I'm not using IDO, so I'm going to be using the default one which I have here, which is the Sublime Text. Okay, just as you've seen as the title of this video, we're looking at data types and variables. Now in Python we have different types of data types. Okay, so we have the integer, we have the float, or we have the string, and the bool. Okay, so you can see they all changed colors. I have a new document, hello.py, which I've created and I've saved in a folder. Okay, so the integers can accept positive numbers, say 1, 2, 3, 4. You can accept 0 and negative numbers, so -1, -2, -3, and so on. The float can accept floating numbers such as 1.2, 0.4, 3.4, 4.0, and so on. Now the string is a special type of data type which is created using double quotes. Now if you want to locate the double quotes, it's right after your semicolon in your keyboard. So you press a shift and you can get double quotes. Okay, so I can type my name here, say Victor, okay, or whatever. This can also be created with single quotes, so it's not respective of the quotes, so it can be single quotes or double quotes. So I can also type anything I want here. Numbers can also be this, but once they are enclosed in strings, they are actually of what the string data type and not integers, so don't be confused when you get to that. So that's it. For Boolean, they only accept two values. There's only true or false. Okay, those are the two values that are acceptable by the Boolean. So I'm gonna walk you through writing your first program in Python. Now these are not programs, I'm just illustrating or showing the different types of data types we have with a few examples. So I'm gonna type print and open parentheses. Now since I'm using Sublime Text, it immediately closes that for me, but in your idle you have to type that out. So I'm using double quotes, and I'm going to type hello world with an exclamation mark. So if you're on idle, you're going to run this program with F5, whereas in this Sublime Text, I'm using Ctrl B to run this. And you can see hello world is outputted to the screen. Our fancy dancy hello world is there. I can enlarge this a bit so you can see what's going on. Okay, so we've got hello world. Now that is great. I know you could change this world. You could put your name there. Just try to play around with that and see. You could see hello Victor is printed out. Now that is great. Now we're going to be looking at variables in Python. Now for variables, we have the name of the variable and the equal sign, then the value. Okay. Now there are some rules for creating variables, but in your maths classes, I know you've basically been seeing assignments like x is equals to 1. Now x is the variable and 1 is the value. Okay, if I go ahead and Python and I try to print x, okay, now you can see the print keyword and I'm specifying the variable in the print statement. Now this is very possible in Python because the print statement, the print function, this is actually its work. This is what it does. It outputs the value of variables or data types. Okay, so once we run this program, you would see that 1 gets printed out to the screen. Okay, we can actually just print 1 this way and leave this variable, and that will still run. You can still see 1 is the output. Okay, so that is very good to note and it's very useful. Now you can define a variable saying name is equal to Victor, right? Now this is okay. I could print name still, print name, and it works fine. Okay, so how not to declare a variable? Okay, now you can start a variable with small letters, or should I say lowercase letters, uppercase letters, or an underscore. Okay, so these are the normal ways for creating a variable, and if you do anything besides that, you're gonna run into an error, and that is not good. So I'm gonna show you that. Now we're gonna say underscore name is equal to Victor. If you can't find the underscore, you can see that basically after you're equal to, before you're equal to, you're gonna see the underscore, and you just have to press shift and you're gonna get an underscore. Now underscore name is equals to Victor, and if we try to print name underscore name, what are we gonna get? We still get Victor and no errors. Now how not to create a variable? You don't start a variable with a number like 1. Any number is not acceptable. So if I run this, it's gonna give us a syntax error, and for Sublime Text it goes crazy into parts and stuff. But basically, if you're using the IDE, it should give you the syntax error probably. So it's not advisable to create a variable in that way. You can't use special characters. It's not gonna work. You can see again, it's not acceptable. Syntax error, invalid syntax. So that is what you would get if we leave it this way. Okay, and we remove this should run. Okay, so you should be used to handling syntax errors. This happens when you don't type out something as the language would understand. Okay, so we basically talked about that. Now Python is case sensitive. Now what that means is that this name here is not equal to this name with the uppercase N. They are different variables. You would be expecting to get Victor printed out to the screen, but in our case that's not going to happen because of this N right here. Now that is because this variable has not been declared. Okay, so once we declare this variable and we try to print this different variable, guess what is going to happen? It's going to give us name error. Name is not defined. Now it's just telling us that the name, this variable which we've created here, is not what's defined. Now if I go ahead and I create another variable, say an uppercase N, name is equal to name, or let's say ABC. Okay, if I run this now, you will see ABC is printed. That is just to show us that this name is not equal to this name. So Python is very case sensitive and it wants its variables to be declared properly. Okay, so even if we add an underscore here, it's gonna totally change the variable. So this is not equal to this. So I hope you've gotten a grasp of that, and that is it. How to declare a variable? To remind you guys, you have to use a lowercase or an uppercase letter or an underscore. So that's how to start a variable. Okay, so there are some reserved words in Python which you cannot use when creating variables. So once you type a name in Python, you're gonna meet all the whole reserved words in Python. You can say list. You can see this, the color of these changes, and so I wouldn't advise you to assign it to whatever. So once you're creating a variable, make sure it doesn't change the color, which specifies that it's actually a reserved word in Python. So don't assign reserved words as your variables. It's a no-no, because once you try to access the reserved words later in your program, it's gonna mess up everything. So don't assign so should I say reserved words. You can't say print is equal to 1. No, it's not good. Once you try to do print 2, you can see int object is not callable, and before the starting of this we are using print properly. Okay, so as you can see, it's not advisable to assign reserved words to as variables. So I hope you got that, and that is basically the basics of creating a variable in Python. So now we're going to go ahead and prototype out a basic application which collects the name, age, and a student of a person. So I'm going to give name to be equal to my name, Victor, and I'm going to give the age to be 18 because I'm 18, and is underscore student is going to be true. Okay, because I'm a student. False. No. So name is Victor, age is 18, his student is true. Okay, so we could go ahead and print this. Print name. We could print age. I want everything to be on screen, so I'm going to bring this down a bit. So we're going to print you can see the is student. I use an underscore to separate it instead of joining them together. So is student. Now I have should I say auto completion in this Sublime Text or IntelliSense. You might not get that on IDEs, but it's still a good place for beginners to start. I don't actually advise you to jump into a real IDE in Python when you're starting out programming. So if I run this code, you would see we've got Victor 18 and true. Now it went ahead and printed the name which was specified here, the age, and his student. Okay, and what if we wanted to print this all on one line? I would clear out this remaining 2, and after name you put comma age, comma is student, and once we run this, Control B for Sublime Text, F5 for IDEs, you would see this is all on one line. So this is the end of today's tutorial. I would advise you to actually go ahead and try declaring different types of variables, play around with the print statement, and get your hands dirty in Python, because that's the best way to learn Python programming. If you enjoyed this video, you could basically support this video by leaving a like and a sub, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next tutorial.